So you want to know the absolute honest opinion from someone who lives here, was born and raised here, give you all the good, the bad, the honest, the uglies, and the sads. Right now, we about to cover all the pros and cons of the Buffalo area. Let's get to it right now. What's going on, you guys? I hope all is well. Welcome back to the channel. If this is you guys returning, or if this is you guys' first time, welcome to Buffalo Living. We cover every single thing Buffalo on this channel, and this is actually Buffalo Living 2.0 because the first channel of Buffalo Living got deleted / I don't have access to it anymore, which is such a sad occasion. But all those videos from that channel will be on this channel along with all the new uploads. So make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment on this one. But let's get right into it. I don't want this video to be crazy long, and I know you guys are anxiously waiting. So number one off the bat, probably the number one best quality of Buffalo in 2022 right now is Buffalo is still very, very affordable. The affordability of Buffalo is literally off the chain compared to the rest of the United States. Now it's 2022. We still in COVID, unfortunately, but one of the greatest parts about this is that we're still like 35% less as far as affordability goes, and we pay less than the rest of the United States, which is always a great thing once you guys really think about it, especially when it comes to real estate. We just hit, this was last, I don't even know, maybe November, December. We just hit an average over the entire Buffalo and Niagara County region of like 190, 200 on average cost for a house. And there's still parts in Buffalo, you can still find a single family for like 50,000. Now it's going to be dirt. Like, it's not going to be good, but you can still find a $20,000, investment. But on average, especially inside the city, you can definitely still find something in certain places for like 110, 120. Depending on the size of the house, 150 is really where a lot of people really start to shop as a first-time home buyer. Now, that's where everything is competitive right now because we know the housing market is just crazy, but that is something to think about. Everything else across the board for the most part, like, your health insurance, gas, utilities, a lot of those things are the same. Not gasoline in your car. I think we're a little higher than a lot of other people when it comes to gasoline in your car. We pay like $3, $4 right now, and it's crazy. But affordability inside of Buffalo is still one of the top notch compared to the U.S. average, which is like $275. We still $100,000, $75,000 lower than the national average, and that's good money. Do you know what $1 million property look like in Buffalo? You should look it up. It's beautiful. Now, the second thing will have to be our food. Hands down, food, drinking, having fun. Buffalo is definitely one of the best places to be. And I'm telling you, our food, if you can make it in Buffalo as a restaurant, you can make it anywhere. They say you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. That is true when it comes to the restaurant and food and bar scene in the Buffalo area. Now, one thing I will say, we have an assortment, a range of foods. When it comes to our nightlife, we're not like clubbing people. Even though we live 2 hours from Toronto, Drake not gonna be just walking through the club, one of our bars. We're not a big club people. We're a bar people. Like, we go hang out at the bar and we go back to the crib. The beautiful thing about it is you can hang out all night because the bars is open at 4 a.m. Well, before COVID happened. Now they only open till like 1 or 2. But like our bar, we're bar people. We go out to the bar, go 1 or 2 and then go have fun. Back to the food. We have every single type of food you can think of. Mexican, Spanish, Jamaican, American cuisine, Italian. I mean, you can go to your corner store and go get a good pastelito, and it's probably the best pastelito you had. She probably was whipping it up in the back, grandma. Or if you go downtown to Monty's, Monty's, I want some pastelitos, so I'm gonna tell you about it. It looked like a corner store on the outside, but when grandma be walking around with that big pot of rice, slapping on the table and put you a nice 2 scoops in your container, I'm telling you, our food, and you can find that anywhere. It doesn't matter. We don't have a lot of chains here. Like, chains, restaurants generally don't make it in Buffalo because you could go to any mom and pop restaurant and it's gonna be 10 times better than anything you'll ever find. But if you are downtown and say you do wanna go out, since we're just on the topic of it, The worst part, I'm telling you, and this should probably be in any downtown area, but for the most part, in all of the actual city, parking sucks. It doesn't matter what side street you live on, doesn't matter what street you live on, whether you're downtown. If you live inside the city, I'm talking anywhere inside North Buffalo, South, but it doesn't matter. Parking sucks inside the city. Our streets are so narrow for the most part that it makes it very hard to drive, walk, park on both sides. And then that's it. Oh, that's it even worse. Monday through Thursday, you park on one side. Thursday through Sunday, you park on the entire, like you got to flip every couple of days because, like, you know, when those plows come down, if you parked on the wrong side, A, you're going to get a nice little $25 ticket. And then B, because those streets are so narrow, when the plows come down in the middle, they just plowing you in. So you have to get up. People think I'll be joking when I tell people you need to get up 2 hours before work. If it snowed the night before, you need to get up 2 hours before work, shovel yourself out, go back in because you're going to be sweaty, change, shower, now get busy and go ahead and go to work. Especially if you got to drop the kids off, now you're trying to run around and get them all rearranged. This is bad in Buffalo. I'm trying to tell you. Now, there are certain streets in Buffalo where, you know, it's a little wider, normal size street. But for the most part, because you have so many people inside the city, you know, living on those streets in doubles, there's some streets in Buffalo where there's nothing but just doubles everywhere, like all the way up and down the street. So you figure everybody got a car these days. You figure it's 2 families, everybody got 2 or 3 cars. That's a lot of parking with no driveways. Some houses in Buffalo don't have driveways. That's just my little rant. So that's just definitely something to think about. It ain't the best down there. Along with our metro system, that's another con. Our metro system is not the best. Not the workers or not anybody that work there. Our metro system doesn't go everywhere you need. If you take the bus somewhere, you still gonna be walking to your destination. like it's funny to think about. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take the bus. I'm gonna go here. No, you're gonna take the bus and you still might walk a half a mile to wherever you need to go. It doesn't matter, especially if you're going downtown. I would show up 15, 20, 30 minutes earlier if you got an interview to make sure, A, you can find parking, or if you're taking that bus, you got enough leg room to get yourself off the bus and to wherever you need to go so you're never late. Now, the beautiful part, if you do have a car, and most people drive in Buffalo, like this is not you know how you go to like Dallas, or if you go to especially like California, how everybody take the trolley and the train, or if you go to New York City, which is 6 hours away, if you go there, you can take the A train everywhere. Buffalo don't have that. Like people drive here. The beautiful thing about driving here is that there's never any traffic. Like traffic is not a thing in Buffalo. Only time you can in traffic is between 4 to 6, or if you're going to work between 7 and 8:30. For the most part, you good. Like unless it's a wreck or there's something going on the highway which is causing an immense distraction, traffic is never an issue. You can get anywhere around the city in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I kid you not. If you go to Orchard Park, which is far for a lot of people here. Like people think going to Grand Island and Niagara Falls is far here. It's amazing because once you go down south, you can't get to the local Walmart without driving 20, 30 minutes. People think going 20 minutes is far in Buffalo. That's the mindset people have. That's how much traffic is non-existent and everything is close together. So that is definitely something to think about. And I've been to all those places, Atlanta, Houston, Texas, California. We was going, it was a 20-minute route. It took us an hour and a half. It's the most fascinating, most disgusting thing I've ever seen traffic. We ain't got that problem. Don't worry about it. And next, especially if you talk to anybody from here, the most beautiful part, or one of the most beautiful parts, especially when it comes to scenery, grass, just the earth, is that we get all 4 seasons. Now, this is actually a pro and a con, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute. We get all 4 seasons, yes. I mean, the summertime breeze is nice, it's hot, and apparently we get 90-degree weather days in 2021. Now you move over to spring, nice, flowers blooming. We do have a little rainy season, winter and fall. So it's beautifully orange in fall. Everything is lit up. Nice pumpkins. Everybody be walking around with their sweater. And then it comes up to snow, which is probably the worst part about Buffalo because we get snow. Today it is 23 degrees outside with a wind chill. It was 90 degrees in the summertime. But the crazy part is, now, last April, and I remember this distinctively, last April when I made the last pros and cons video for the other page, it literally, in the morning, it was 50 degrees. 6 to 8 hours later, it snowed 2 days before Mother's Day. I kid you not. You can literally have all 4 seasons in a week. You can wake up on Monday, you cutting your grass. On Wednesday, you shoveling snow. It's crazy. Like, it's the craziest weather in Buffalo you can ever predict. But at the same time, like I said, you get the beauties of all Earth, and that was God's gift to us. At the same time, he might have played the joke because you can see that all in a day's time too. So that's a pro and a con depending on what you like. Now, one thing a lot of people do hear about Buffalo is the crime. In some areas, not all areas, in some areas, crime is high. And I got a top 5 crime videos coming up, so make sure you guys watch that. But crime is really, I don't want to say one section of the city because you can find crime everywhere, but the majority of the crime is in a place, most of that is on the east/west side of Buffalo. You'll find a lot of crime in those areas. Not all areas over there, but for the most part, a lot of those areas over on the east/west side, depending on where you are. Now, the lower west side, the vertical triangle, all that stuff is extremely nice area. Riverside is a little rough over there. You know me, I don't disrespect nobody hood. I talk great about everybody hood, but it is rougher over there. So that's something that you guys definitely want to pay attention to, because Buffalo, it can get iffy. It could be the most beautiful area you walk into. You go 3 blocks over and it get busy, and it's like that everywhere. So I don't like when people make it seem like Buffalo is just the worst of the worst, because that's not true. I went to Atlanta. If you ever go there, there's a spot. We were staying in a spot somewhere. We didn't stay there long. We went 2 blocks and we found a Ritz-Carlton. So every place has their problems. Like, Buffalo is not the worst, I can guarantee you. And I still find it harder to believe that we above on the FBI list more than Brooklyn or Bed-Stuy or anybody like that in New York, because I've been to them places. Brooklyn or Bed-Stuy is rough compared to Buffalo. Like, man, you know what I'm saying? Now, Buffalo is a big city. Yes, we're actually the second largest. Buffalo is actually the second largest city inside of New York, which is crazy to think about, and a lot of people don't even know that. What's fascinating is because we're such a big city, but we have a small town feel. Like, if you go to most major cities, their downtown is lit up with buildings and fireworks, and they got stuff to do downtown as far as nightlife goes, and there's plenty of clubs. Everybody wants to go visit. Buffalo not like that. Like, we got a couple years to go for stuff like that. We're building more downtown. It is becoming more developed, but we have a small town feel. Like, you're not going to just go see 40 skyscrapers in the sky going across. Well, you may see one skyscraper down here, and that's the Seneca 1 building right now. So it has that small town feel. It is more of a smaller big city, if you will. We just missing that thing. To me, it's really just more funds. I don't know if it's political. I'm not a political guy, but I feel like if there's so much development that can happen in Buffalo, there's a world of things to do as far as building and land development and building more houses and jobs and tech jobs, which people are coming up. In 5 years, I always say this, and I've been saying this for years now. In 5 to 10 years, Buffalo is going to be the place to be. And the only thing that kills us right now is our taxes. Taxes is a problem, especially when it comes to real estate. We pay 8.75% on everything. Doesn't matter what it is, especially when it comes to real estate taxes and school taxes. Please, there's areas, Cheektowaga, Amherst, minimum $5,000 depending on where you are. Let's say $4,500, just for an even number. The farther you go out, depending on where you are, Orchard Park, West Seneca, definitely Williamsville, you can pay $7, $8, $9, $10,000 in taxes easily. Even in parts of Cheektowaga too, even in the city. Now, I had a client, he literally bought a house, and it wasn't in the best area. It was decent, it was okay. He pays $500 a year in taxes. I just told you the average in those suburbs were 4,500. Now, the further you go out, if you're getting into the countryside like Pendleton, Wheatfield, those get expensive too. Maybe not as, 8, 10, 11 grand, but there's some $1 million properties where you can pay 30 grand in just taxes. And the crazy part about it is half of that may be school taxes. That is just mind-boggling. That's the only thing that holds us back. I'm telling you, because our houses are so affordable, but our taxes just suck. Now, speaking of schools, this is another pro and con and betwixt and between. If you're in a suburban part of things, schooling is pretty good for the most part. Like, you don't have to worry about bad schooling. Inside the city, though, every school inside the city is not good. The beautiful part about that is that if you live inside the city, you can go to any school you want to. You just got to take the bus, or your parents got to drive you to get there. Most people go to their neighborhood schools. So if you live on the east side, you go to East High, Burgard, something like that. So you live on Riverside or on the west side, chances are you're going to Riverside High School. And the suburban areas is always classified by district. So there's 4 schools in Cheektowaga. There's like 3 schools in Williamsville. So depending on what district you're in, depending on what area or what school you're going to go to, you can be on, look, Cheektowaga and Amherst is weird. They're side by side to each other. If you're in the last 3 houses of a certain block, and it starts there at, let's say you live in a block and Amherst and Cheektowaga is right on the border there. If the last 5 houses on that block is Amherst and the front 20 is Cheektowaga, if you could be next door to each other. This kid can go to Amherst and that kid can go to Cheektowaga. That's just the way it is. Where that border stops, it stops, and they don't make no exceptions. But that is something to think about. Obviously, you're in New York State, so you get some of the best school, any degree, SUNY, high school, it doesn't matter. It's the best degree that you can get in New York. Doesn't matter. But at the same time, our schoolings in some areas are way worse than others. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys have any questions, as always, make sure you guys hit me up. Again, this is the new channel, so every new upload is going to be on this channel. So if you was a follower of the old Buffalo Living, make sure you guys follow this channel, get all the new updates and things like that. And I will see you guys in the next one, as always.